Hello, Ken Chapahary, Economic Development and Tourism Director for the City of Avondale, Arizona. Thank you for joining us. I am here today with the wonderful Carey Pena. Welcome, Carey.
Thank you so much, and hi everyone. It's so great to have all of you here in our Inspired Media 360 studios. And Ken is here with me as well as the great team from Avondale because we are launching a brand new digital television series, Avondale Edge. I've been so honored to work with you and your team to put this series together, really reporting from a journalistic lens on the hot things that are going on in Avondale, and there's a lot of them.
And going forward, our conversation is going to be talking about all the great things we saw as you were filming this series. We're breaking it up. We're going to have 9 episodes coming.
Yes. So the theory behind this is that I've been getting to know all the city leaders in Avondale, and I was actually super intrigued in the special sauce because you guys are seeing so much success even through the pandemic. So, I mean, a journalist, I wanted to know what's going on in Avondale. What are they doing that is helping people find success even in the face of all these challenges? So when we partnered up to create this digital television series, we really went in on a granular level to talk about the hottest housing market, but not just the numbers, because you guys have some killer numbers.
Absolutely.
Like what, how many permits are you guys?
So we're at 400 this year. That's a 90% increase over last year. We're definitely one of the hottest housing markets in the country. And probably in the country.
In the country, because I've done the research. I've done the research. But what I wanted to know when we went out and we talked to the great folks from Brookfield Residential and Alamar, not just the how is this happening and why, but who's coming to Avondale? What is the draw? And what are you doing as a city to build an infrastructure that is really heart-centric, that is authentic, and that will allow people really to have a better future? That's what I was interested in. So we've done 5 episodes so far, and those are the hottest housing market, small business success stories, how Avondale thrived through the pandemic. This is one of the more interesting storylines for me personally because I wanted to know what you and your team did through the pandemic, how you went out and you literally went reaching out to those businesses to say, what can we do to make sure that not only you survive the pandemic, but that you thrive? That is a very unique thing for an economic development department and a city leadership team to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm really glad you brought that up. One thing that we've been striving for, not just in economic development, but throughout the city, is to once again, I'm gonna use your language here, is to create that authentic place-making environment where people don't want to just come because, hey, it's the cheapest land or whatever, but they realize that there's a community here and there's a structure here, and they want to be part of that, and there's a draw to that. We're seeing more and more of that as we deal with businesses that are not only moving into the city, but people that are already here, and they're becoming our best ambassadors. They really love it in Avondale. They really love being part of what we are.
And I saw that firsthand because we went out and we talked to, we're doing one episode on foodies. I was obsessed with that episode because I love the fact that not only big chains, but a lot of small mom and pop restaurants that always tend to have the best recipes, by the way, are moving and setting up in Avondale, including Trapper Sushi. And they're a very successful sushi chain, 2 brothers who started it from Washington, and they chose Avondale.
First location outside of Washington, they chose Avondale, and they are rocking it over there. As you said before, best sushi that I've had in a long time. Good stuff.
The other thing I thought was really interesting was the innovative explosion going on in Avondale. You wouldn't have always thought, and maybe this is just me, but you know, I've worked in the Valley for 15 plus years at 3TV as an anchor, reporter. I've worked nationally, and I've interviewed a lot of city leaders and political folks. And it's interesting to me how you have set up this very welcoming environment, both to small businesses, but also to high-tech folks. So you guys are really recruiting some national successful companies like Photocentric and the vertical farming. I mean, you've got some. Yeah, 1.1. I love those guys. Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting how you've been able to recruit. So how do you think that you were able to get those people to move their headquarters to Avondale?
I think a lot of it starts with, as we were saying before, is with the storyline with the local businesses. You cannot recruit, I've been doing this for 20 years. You cannot bring new businesses in unless the businesses that are already in your community believe in what you're doing. And I think we've done a great job over the past few years in establishing that, again, investing more in the placemaking, investing in and making sure that we're going to have the infrastructure and the amenities out there where people just want to, where people want to live. They want to raise a family, they want to commute to work, and they want to have those opportunities. It's to build their business from the ground up. Groups like 1.1 and Photocentric, we were very fortunate to bring them in. They are great companies. I have a couple more announcements that are going to be coming up here in the next couple months. You guys are going to be seeing some good stuff as well. But the resonating thread that's with all of them. They've seen the videos that we put out there for our groundbreakings, our ribbon cuttings, our networking events that my team works so hard to put together. If they're going to see this series and they're going to say, Avondale's a place I want to be, because it's not, as you said before, it's authentic, it's real, it's genuine. It's not just us. It's throwing a bunch of signs up and ads up. It's real, and when they get here, they recognize that.
Well, it's been interesting because as we've been promoting on our social media that we're working with you in partnership on this series, a lot of folks have been asking me, not just in Arizona, but other folks that I know nationally, tell me about this digital television series, tell me about what Avondale's doing. So I think the opportunity here is to not only share the success stories, which we need more success stories, right? We need to hear more positive news. The opportunity is to go beyond that and really talk about what you have done right and what the future looks like for Avondale, and people can follow along with this series. As Charles Montoya told me that, sometimes people create a box and then they live inside that box, and he said it better than this on the video, but something to the effect of like Avondale city leaders decided they were going to just break out that box, that whatever you needed to do, you were going to do that, and really thinking in terms of innovation and putting your money where your mouth is. And you and your team have been out, boots on the ground. We're going to be sharing all the success stories: May Fine Foods, 8-Bit Ale Works, Scale and Feather, Meadery. Who those guys are so. They mortgaged their home to open this meadery, and then COVID hits. So, there's just some tremendous success stories, not to mention the championship race that's coming back, NASCAR.
Second year in a row. We just announced the third year in a row in 2022. It's the first time it's outside of Homestead, Florida. Excited to have that project coming. You and your team did a great job on this series. I love the interviews you give to the small businesses, and I really enjoy the interviews that you sat down with the mayor. The mayor and you had some really good conversations.
The mayor needs his own TV show, really. He's a really good. We even did one where we were driving around with him, and it's just like we could just call it just driving with Mayor Ken, because he really believes in what he says, and so kudos to you, your team, and I've just had a great time getting to know the city, and we look forward to bringing you all these episodes. We have lots of great things coming up, including my foodie episode, which in case I didn't mention, I'm really excited. I love food, and I love to see people getting back out post-COVID, gathering together and sharing, good, positive experiences.
Awesome. Thank you again, Carey, for you and your team. Check out the web series. It's going to be posted on AvondaleEdge.com,
InspiredMedia360.com, yes.
360.com, posting on our LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Appreciate your time. Take care.